Genesis chapter 6, there was a lot of things took place in a quick summary. Matter of fact, the whole book is a quick summary. Book of Jasher, Jubilees, all of them. Tapping into and messing with the embryo. Cut up Homo sapiens with homogeneous. The same cutout tape they doing today. Now, they got bodies and they got things. And they're wanting to take fibers from the old world and put them into the new world. In our Bible, you cannot put new wine in old lambskins. Just the days we are living in.
Thing called a smart fiber that was developed from the government. It is real. It is. It's absolutely real. It's called a smart fiber. Now, my thing is, and my question is, could Morgellons disease, is it being caused by things like smart fibers? Let me find it for y'all. It's very odd the way I'm having to do this today because I am not used to doing my lives quite like this. Hey, gotta roll with punches. Oh.
Tightens during exercise for better support. This isn't science fiction. It's the reality made possible by Fiberobo. Developed by an interdisciplinary team at MIT, this liquid crystal elastomer fiber is a game changer in the textile industry. Fiberobo is a practical
liquid crystal, that's what you are,
with existing
and your
textile
screen.
manufacturing techniques. At its core, Fiberobo is made from a material known as liquid crystal elastomer. Liquid crystals are unique molecules that flow like a liquid but can align into a crystal structure. When incorporated into an elastomer network, these molecules create a fiber that responds dramatically to temperature changes. When heated, the crystal molecules in the LCE misalign, causing the fiber to contract. Once the heat source is removed, the molecules realign, and the fiber returns to its original length.
So we have fibers that can move, maybe like this. This is a Morgellon. This is a fiber that someone took out of their body. Look at it moving.
So I wasn't science fiction, huh? I told you I was eating some chips on my teeth. I was like, what the heck? Oh, look at this thing, man. I could feel the string. I just can't see it. Pull it out. I was like, yo, what kind of alien predator stuff going on? Man, y'all remember me saying that? I know Facebook do. So maybe, yeah, I said a couple of times on YouTube. Now there's the proof.
So, again, my question is, could Morgellons disease be from these things like smart fibers that are literally being put into everything that you and I wear? So I looked it up. It's in firefighters or smart, like fire retardant clothing. And the thing is that these smart fibers can link back to a computer. All right, like they're intelligent. That's why they're called smart fibers. They move, they wiggle, and we all know that fibers don't stay in clothing, they work out. I know people that can't wear wool. Why? Because it like gets into their skin, literally, and causes them reactions. So I saw some stuff yesterday when I was researching all of this, that there are smart fibers even in baby wipes. It's like, what? Why? Now,
let's make your pet famous in less than 1 minute. Do you have an adorable pet that...
Are you worried that using your home address for business puts your privacy at risk? At iPostal One?
Yes, we're going to make them mad every day then. We'll come back to this. We'll come back, right back.
And he was credited with discovering Lyme disease. And my understanding that he made some kind of admissions that came out later on before he died. Can you tell us a little bit about the details of that?
Yes. So what Willy Burgdorfer did in the beginning of the bioweapons program was he took ticks and he would stuff them with multiple viruses and bacteria to meet a military objective. Like, we want a deadly tick bite here. We want an incapacitating tick bite. So it will weaken a population. So it was crude gain of function experiments, because once you mix multiple pathogens in the belly of a tick, viruses like mutate the bacteria. It's what they do. So, so he would mix them inside ticks, put them on little rodents, see which rabbits died fast. He would cull that organism from the blood, and then he would send the samples to Fort Detrick, and they would see, can we weaponize this germ? So that sort of happened in the 50s. In the 60s, the military realized, well, it's hard to reliably stuff fleas and ticks and mosquitoes in a bomb and put them on the shelf till you need them. So they went to just brewing the organisms, some of them tick-borne, in a large steel tank, like you would brew beer. Then they would freeze dry the organisms, make them into dormant spores, and then they would hire a contractor like General Mills, the people that bring you Cheerios, to figure out how to mill them and powderize them so you could spread them over a battalion or a city. So that was the plan. And then the biological weapons program was ended by Nixon in 72. Research carried on under the umbrella of defense, at Detrick and overseas. So that's pretty well established that those happened. Now, Borrelia burgdorferi, the bacteria that causes Lyme disease.
Sci-fi and fantasy writers ready to bring your worlds to life? Noted is where imagination meets
opportunity. The bacteria that causes Lyme disease. Recent papers that have genetically sequenced the organism show it has a mysterious and rapid evolution. In scientific terms, that means it doesn't seem like it was a natural evolution. And so to me, that supports the theory that perhaps they were mixing the bacteria with viruses to make something more virulent. And certainly that's what we saw on the ground in the early 70s in Lyme disease. I went to the Yale archives and looked at the very earliest symptom reports from Polly Murray, and it was just ghastly how horrible that disease was, with a lot of neurological things that were so unusual. And then the joint swelling. And in the end, when I was interviewing him about the Lyme outbreak, he obviously felt guilty. He said he wouldn't give me details of where and how the release of whatever we call Lyme disease really is, but he said accidents happens. Sometimes experiments don't turn out the way you planned.
Wow. And I just want to give people also the bigger picture, right? This is just one small section. I know you've talked about the history just now of the military's tick weaponization program. What are some of the more, crazy experiments that you discovered that they were doing?
Well, I go over these briefly. We meaning the U.S. military, sprayed Lyme bacteria from tugboats around the San Francisco Bay Area in the 50s. It was
spraying bacteria. Now they in the air. Then they did it in the form of trucks that said it was mosquito spray, but you was the mosquito, carcinogenic. Wow, it's making sense now. Let's keep going.
Called Serratia. It's supposed to be a stimulant and not be lethal, but there's at least one known death from that spraying of that live bacteria onto the San Francisco Bay Area. They did an experiment with a live bacteria in the New York City subways. So they got a live bacteria that was sort of like anthrax, and they had a guy fill a light bulb with it and crash it down on a subway grate. And then they had undercover agents with sniffers, and they determined that if that had really been anthrax, most of the subways would have been contaminated, and the people in the subways, and it could have been a mass casualty event. They mounted sprayers for germs on the back of trucks and went through the Pennsylvania tunnels that way. As far as ticks, I think the most outrageous tick experiments, uncontrolled on an unsuspecting public, where they did a pilot study in 1962 where they dropped infected ticks on Cuban sugarcane workers with the intent of destroying their number one cash crop so people would overthrow Fidel Castro, the communist leader. The other thing that, there's one other experiment that I think could have been a driver for the Lyme area outbreak, and that is they were releasing deadly, aggressive Lone Star ticks that had been made radioactive so they could see how far they would travel over months to years. And they released them in coastal Virginia on the Atlantic Bird Flyway. And sure enough, a year after these experiments ended, there was a deadly spotted fever outbreak on Long Island. And these Lone Star ticks carry spotted fever, which is in both the ticks and that disease were non-native in that New York City metropolitan area. And then the other thing that are really bad about Lone Stars is through their saliva, they transmit a red meat allergy that can last a lifetime. And it means you can just take a bite of a hamburger and end up in the ER 5 hours later. So I mean, that's my summary of the most crazy bug-borne weapons programs.
Right. And what the government is asking us to do is basically not put two and two together and say, well, these are,
Yeah. What did she ask?
Picture this. You're ready
Oh
to go
my
back
God,
to
we
school,
start
finish
off
your
with
degree,
commercial.
but there is that
I
one
left
massive
with 2
sign.
commercials.
There's something called a smart fiber that was developed from the government. It is real. It is. It's absolutely real.
that
It's
word
called a
government.
smart fiber. Now, my thing is, and my question is, could Morgellons disease, is it being caused by things like smart fibers? Let me find it for y'all. It's very odd the way I'm having to do this today because I am not used to doing my lives quite like this. But hey, you got to roll with the punches. Oh.
Titans during exercise for better support. This isn't science fiction.
All right, like they're intelligent. That's why they're called smart fibers. They move, they wiggle, and we all know that fibers don't stay in clothing, they work out. I know people that can't wear wool. Why? Because it like gets into their skin, literally, and causes them reactions. So I saw some stuff yesterday when I was researching all of this, that there are smart fibers even in baby wipes. It's like, what? Why? Now, this is
we have
interesting.
a clear idea both of what it is and how it should be addressed. The closest condition we know of to Morgellons is bovine digital dermatitis, which is weird growths out of the skin of a cow, and it's also caused by bacteria in the same family as the one that causes Lyme. The filaments are made of keratin, the same stuff as your hair and nails, but also have an amyloid component, making them similar to the plaques found in the brains of patients with Alzheimer's. And I want to be clear, I am not saying that all Alzheimer's patients have Lyme, but Borrelia can definitely cause amyloid deposits in the brain, so it kind of makes sense it could show up in other places too. Like right now, my cat is being a lazy, floofy pom-pom instead of a good mouser, and anywhere the mice go, they leave the mice equivalent of amyloid plaques under my kitchen sink. Get a job. Now, I want to address the elephant in the room around this, which is that a lot of patients who go to the doctor and say they feel crawling under the skin and see little weird things growing out of their skin, and because all things chronic Lyme are rarely understood by most doctors, and many of these patients are middle-aged women, the doctors think that patients are crazy and just prescribe psychiatric treatment. Even Mayo suggests this is the best route. And they say, get treatment for any condition that affects your thinking, mood, or behavior, which, like, come on, guys, infections can do that, but SSRIs aren't going to cut it. So I think we can do better. Enter earthworms.
What?
Yeah, sorry, it's gross, I know. Also not vegan, but not exactly endangered either. Earthworms have this cool compound called lumbrokinase, which has been extensively studied for its effects on fibrin. Traditionally, earthworms earthworms are used as medicine for some of these symptoms of itching and crawling under the skin, when we can also see that blood clots are forming incorrectly. The blood clots in this case are the improperly laid down fibrin and keratin, and the Borrelia infection is behind it. So when we treat patients with Morgellons in the clinic, we will often put just a teensy-weensy bit of medicinal earthworms into the patient's formula to direct the actions of it to those parts of the body, along with the herbs we use to slay the spirochetes. Yum. The more you know.
Okay, so let me tell you why that's so interesting what he just said. Earthworms are amazing, all right? So I call them God's little garbage picker-uppers. So what can an earthworm do for your soil? An earthworm can eat, digest heavy metals and toxic bacteria, fungi, and viruses in your soil, digest them, and poop out something that your plants need to grow. The earthworm digests. It opens up its mouth, right? It is like a chicken. It has no teeth, but it has not a gullet, it'll come to me. Anyway, the earthworm eats, grinds everything up, swallows, and then poops out exactly what your soil needs. Yeah, a crawl, basically, yes. So this is what people don't understand. If an earthworm can be used medicinally to help someone get over Morgellons disease, then it stands to differ that Morgellons disease is linked to heavy metal toxicity. I found something yesterday that blew my mind. As early as the year 2000, the USDA was studying genetically modified seeds that could grow in soil,
which Bill Clinton claimed they were going to stop cloning,
with toxic levels of aluminum.
This is a switchblade.
This is a switchblade.
No, this.
Did you hear me? The United States Department of Agriculture has been studying. Scientists find evidence of a common genetic key to aluminum tolerance in plants. June 1st, 2000. This is on the USDA site. It's their site. It's a government site. It's not Sam being a conspiracy theorist. Yeah, guys, sorry. My internet is acting up extremely bad. So where does the aluminum come from? That's a great question. First off, the soil, the earth has aluminum in it. That's where it originally came from. The problem with it is that they are spraying aluminum in the skies. Now, let me just keep going. Millions of acres of non-productive land may someday be transformed into amber waves of grain based on new genetic research by Agricultural Research Service scientists. That's because the scientists have found a gene in barley that makes plants more able to withstand aluminum. A major component of soil clay, aluminum is the third most abundant element in the Earth's crust. At neutral or alkaline pH, it is not a problem for plants. However, in acidic soils, the main form of aluminum is highly toxic to plants. Aluminum toxicity can limit crop production on acidic soils that cover well over half the world's 8 billion acres of potentially arable land. One approach to reducing aluminum toxicity is to develop crop varieties increased genetic resistance to aluminum. So they've been studying this for 25 years. Why? Because that's about when cloud seeding really became a thing, guys. It's when it really started happening. Let me find the lady I found her yesterday. Hold on, let me find her again. She followed a cloud seeding pilot. I don't know if it's going to be on this phone. I bet it's on my the one I'm actually on right now. So you're going to have to listen to it from this.
And we are tired of you dumping heavy metals all over our county. Okay. Well, I'm not the one to talk to about that. No, you are, but you're the one that's doing it. So I've been taking rain samples. I have over 20 samples. And every time you fly, we get high amounts of aluminum, barium, strontium, titanium, magnesium. So I want to know, are you aware of what you're doing? I know you think it's like to increase water supply for Turlock and Modesto, but it's not really happening. Yeah, you can talk to. I've tried. I've called them, and they're not calling me back. So we're now getting really involved, and now we're going to bring something legal against your company. Okay, well, you can talk to them about that. I know, but I want you to know, though, like, we are real people underneath what you're doing. You spray right over our houses. We hear you. We know you. We see you. We're watching your planes and your patterns, okay? Yeah. Twice today now. You did 2 flights. 2 3-hour flights. Public knowledge, yeah. It's not really, though. We're talking about all of the metals and flares that you're using. So aluminum, zinc, propel, the silver iodide. You're spraying right over us all the time. At our plant like a separating, they are now selling aluminum genetically modified seeds to grow food because our soil is so contaminated. Okay, so what you're spraying is not good for the environment, and it's not good for the people because there's an early onset dementia, there's Alzheimer's, things are starting to happen to people's health. And I really do believe there's a linkage to what we're breathing in the environment every day. And you guys free us in November.
And she is correct. There is a linkage. Now, a lot of you heard about what happened with the Girl Scout cookies. Yeah, a lot of people heard what happened with the Girl Scout cookies.
Girl Scout cookies, researchers with GMOscience.org say yes, they contain ingredients linked to autism and cancer. They tested the cookies for the presence of aluminum, arsenic, lead, and mercury. 88% of the samples contained all of these. Every cookie tested contained the active ingredient in the weed killer Roundup, and 96% contained lead. The Girl Scouts say in a statement their cookies are produced by trusted licensed bakers who adhere to rigorous standards set by the FDA and other agencies.
Okay, so maybe we need to close the FDA down. So, you heard this lady say, autism is linked to heavy metals. Okay? The reporter just said it. Autism is linked to heavy metals. You just saw me reading to you an article from the USDA from 25 years ago saying they were genetically modifying seeds to be able to withstand high levels of aluminum in the soil. How much more clear can I make it to you guys? Oh, thank you, Mike. Thank you for the super chat. Love you guys. Y'all are truly amazing. I love what I do. I wish I could hit the like button, but I'm doing it here, so I don't know how. But listen to me now, folks. What is being dumped on you in geoengineering is connected to people getting Morgellons disease, Lyme disease, Alzheimer's. A lot of people in the farming, homesteading industry like to argue this with me. Roundup is not dangerous, Samantha. Really? Because there are billions of lawsuits against Roundup for causing Parkinson's disease.
I knew that.
The feed looks so different, Eddie, because my computer refused to allow me to go live. So I rebuked Satan and went live on the laptop. On the iPad. When I tell y'all Satan didn't want this video out today, he did not.
I know, sister.
I'll have to remake it eventually where I can show you everything. But listen to me, folks. Autism is not normal. It was not here 25 years ago when I began my master's degree. It was a whisper on the wind. Now, I know people like to say, oh, no, autism was here 25 years ago. I know somebody. Not like it is now. It's now 1 in every 6 children. So it's something in the environment causing autism. And you just heard the lady say that autism is linked to aluminum. Hey, Leslie, we're having serious issues today, Leslie. Serious issues.
That's why back in the day, we used to always, in our public schools, I don't know about y'all, they used to always check the water. You know, the water fountain, it was always down. We got to check the water. There's lead and aluminum. I remember that. I'm like, God, that hell. Makes sense.
Satan did not want this video to go up.
In other news, Florida residents are going to be happy to hear this.
Facebook.
It just came out. There's a new website.
I know it, sister. Keep doing. Keep going.
So listen to this one.
It's contagious.
Dr. Casey says all her patients exhibit the same types of lesions and scars. She says they are definitely not self-inflicted.
They all appeared to be eruptions more than scratched areas on their skin.
Dr. Casey has taken numerous fiber samples and says they're unlike anything she's ever seen.
They are not textile. They are not any known substance.
Dr. Casey was amazed by the mysterious fiber on Brian's hand and decided to have it tested. She tugs on it, but the fiber holds firm.
Told
Finally,
you. Let me try to do my tooth, man. Like,
Get out of
here,
Dr.
worm.
Casey and her colleague, Dr. Randy Wymore, take the samples to Tulsa's crime lab.
Y'all believe me now? It's like Alien versus Predator. No, I want my brain. These niggas is crazy out here.
Are not any known textile, cotton or rayon or nylon. There's not any of those.
What's more, the fibers don't burn when exposed to high heat.
Have you ever done a fiber that didn't vaporize completely other than the Morgellons fiber?
No. It's called Morgellons disease. The origin is unknown. What's truly bizarre...
And what did I just show you guys? That there are smart fibers that they are using in fire retardant clothing. That's why when you watch me, you gotta watch my whole thing. I'm gonna tie it all together. It may take me a second, but I'm gonna tie it together.
As the temperature changes, or a sports bra that tightens during exercise for better support. This isn't science fiction. It's the reality made possible by Fiberobo. Developed by an interdisciplinary team at MIT, this liquid crystal elastomer fiber is a game changer in the textile industry. Fiberobo is a practical look.
So, all these people being poisoned. Well, Carol, I understand what you're saying. Stop wearing synthetic fabrics. But, yeah, PFAS are and everything. But let's be very honest, you guys. How many of you can afford, right now with the way that Biden and the Democrats have left this economy, how many of you can afford 100% organic fibers? It's everywhere.
Why I say stay prayed up? I believe the word said.
Living with opioid addiction can be a struggle, trapped in a cycle of opioid use, withdrawal, and cravings.
Right. And what the government is asking us to do is basically not put two and two together and say, well, these are completely, isolated situations, and let's not connect any of the dots here. But I want to switch gears to talking a little bit about our major health institutions, because for decades, the CDC and the NIH have downplayed Lyme disease, I think, insisting that, quote unquote, it's hard to catch, easy to cure. Yet, we have hundreds of thousands of people suffering from long-term symptoms. I believe you contracted a Lyme disease at one point in your life as well. That's kind of how you got into this. So, I'm curious your thoughts on why you think the government has been resistant to acknowledging chronic Lyme, and also, does that play into, are they hiding something about the origin of the disease based on what, their actions are?
Well, I think there are a lot of parallels between the COVID outbreak and Lyme disease. I like to say the Lyme disease outbreak was a prequel to what we're seeing with COVID. And the important thing to know is that Lyme the organism was announced in '82, and during that year is when the incentive structure for the CDC and the NIH and academic researchers changed. This Bayh-Dole Act was passed that said that if scientists in these organizations made a discovery and they patented it then they could share in the profits if their discoveries were used in vaccines or test kits or treatments. So that major shift. And let's let's look at incentives again. Willie worked his whole career for the NIH. The NIH was complicit in curing disease and creating diseases. And if you're an NIH scientist and NIH funding is your oxygen, it's the way you stay alive, then why would you sequence the Lyme bacteria and show the world that NIH created this monster germ? I mean, what's the incentive there?
Yeah, we've seen disclosures recently of billions of dollars over the course of a decade of these kind of royalty payments, and the information a lot of times is redacted from the public. We don't really know who the payments are coming from, nor how much they are for. So it's really hard to pinpoint exactly what's going on. And one of these organizations that I do want to bring up with you as well is the American Lyme Disease Foundation, which is kind of like the foremost, authority on Lyme research and treatment, but they also have ties to the CDC, NIH, various insurance companies. I would, imagine that there's some incentives to suppress the reality that people with Lyme disease are suffering from chronic.
Us out there cracking up, bruh. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. We got to be on it.
Structure in medicine changed, all the researchers in pharma put all their eggs in the vaccine basket. So ALDF was a front for promoting the vaccine that was eventually pulled off the market. And it was established by what I call the new disease carpetbaggers who moved in to get a piece of the pie of this new organism. And at that time, you could just look at a microscope at the Borrelia bacterium and genetically identify a surface protein on that organism. And if it was ever used in a vaccine or a test kit, money would be raining down on you, so that happened. And so the people in the 1990s, ALDF website, the technical advisors, are pretty much the Lyme discoverers. They're all in their 70s, some late 70s, and they're there to protect their commercial interests. Some of them are involved in the new vaccine trial from Pfizer, and they're also protecting their legacy. They have built their whole careers on saying Lyme disease is easy to diagnose, easy to treat, easy to cure. But you know what? It's been over 50 years since it first came on the scene. We still don't have a reliable test. We don't have a reliable treatment. About 20% of the people who get Lyme disease and co-infections or whatever go on to become chronically ill, and that's becoming a real burden on our society. We don't have very good prevention programs because CDC admits we have 500,000 people a year who are getting Lyme disease, and then who knows what other co-infections, and that has grown steadily since we first started tracking it in the early 80s. This is a huge problem that's being completely ignored, I think, because of money and because of the people involved in the initial discovery have been read into the whole bioweapon storyline, and they don't want to be discredited. Luckily, Willie came clean, and we know what we know now.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. The way I think about it is if you can make a treatment for a small subset of people,
there is electromagnetic energy in that pyramid between 200 and 600.
It's everywhere. I told you guys, there's these fibers in baby wipes for babies. It's everywhere. It's coming down from the sky, friends. This isn't like you can just, walk outside and ignore it. So look, when Leslie and when the book is ready to be purchased, I pray every one of you get it, because that book is going to blow your mind on how you can clean your soil, your water, and your body. Because the heavy metals is no joke what they're doing. It's not a joke. It's not a conspiracy. It's real.
Have at it. Then over here, we've got the tree, but two right behind look the little parallels. Like when you walk into your room and your peripheral vision
catches something on the wall that shouldn't be there. Like for me, if I see a spider in the corner, my eyes instantly are like, what the fuck is that? But without it even having to move, I just know it shouldn't be there. It's a dark spot on a white wall. The same shit happens when I look up in the sky. My eye will catch, I was switching lanes and just had to look over and I'm like, oh shit, there's something in the sky. Look, just like that. Just like that. That's exactly what happened. I saw them two fucking parallels. There's this documentary on YouTube. I had to go search for it on my old IG page. But it's called Frankenskies, like Frankenstein, but skies. I would urge you to look it up. It's about a cute little hour documentary, and it chronologically details how the government has been experimenting with the weather since the 40s. Back then, trying to create smoke screens out in the middle of the ocean with the Navy and shit, all the way up until current times.
So I know that this is not my usual way to do a live, and it is a little all jumbled up. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to let the weather settle down for everybody over the next couple of days. I'm going to continue researching into this topic, and we're going to come back and we're going to deep dive it, folks. Because you need to understand that this is not a joke. This is not a conspiracy. This is really serious. It says how GMO gene-edited crops can keep cancer-causing heavy metals out of staple foods. It says right now, one of the most pressing issues in public health is the presence of toxic elements in food, which potentially risk the health of millions of people, including, thank you, Ada B. You guys find research, send it to me. The thing is that being a special education teacher, I can tell you guys, there is a correlation between what's going into your child's mouth and the diseases and behaviors that they're exhibiting. Okay? I can't imagine being a parent right now in this day and age. I feel so bad for you younger folks. It's like walking through minefields to keep your children healthy. But please know that us older folks are not putting our heads in the sand. We are not going to leave you in this fight alone. We're going to fight with you, moms and dads, grandparents. We're going to help you. We're going to figure this out, because I'm going to tell you right now, will Trump stop geoengineering? I don't know the federal government has the right to stop it. You're going to have to start locally. You're going to have to start in your state getting them to stop doing it. But let me tell you what they do. They just go to a state that allows it, sprays doubly hard, and lets the jet stream grab it and drag it across your state. So until all of America and Canada stop over the Pacific Ocean, over the Gulf of America, until it is all stopped, you're going to keep being affected by what they're spraying in the skies. I think they are aware of it. I think the government knows they're doing it. But with everything they're currently fighting...
Hey alligators, welcome back. Today we are talking about YouTube's 2025 updates and what you need to...
doing it. But with everything they're currently fighting, all I can tell y'all is keep trying to educate people. And look, let me just give you just a little bit of advice. Don't go into the conversation like this. There are aliens, the earth is flat, and they're spraying toxic chemicals on us. Don't Don't do that. If you want to talk to someone about geoengineering, walk up to them and say, hey, did you realize that NOAA has been giving grants to universities to spray aluminum in the sky? Did you know that? And start the conversation like that. That's where most people mess up. You put too much information in one sentence and they just walk off. They don't want to hear it. So you have to come from a place where they can understand you. So if you have someone in your family that loves to garden, maybe you could say, hey, or did you have trouble with your garden last year? Were your plants burning? Were they producing like normal? Because, you know, I heard something about heavy metals being used in the atmosphere to make it rain and block the sun. And I've heard that might be affecting the plants. So you've got to learn how to have this conversation with people where they can meet you in the conversation. No, you're right, Ruby.
So, in a nice way, they have found the DNA to the giants, which is your mountains, and found some intact, which the Bible says that leave them reserved to the day. Are they spraying these niggas over us? You know, elements been coming in the earth. That's nothing new. But your government make deals with things that really do run this world from the North Pole. Currently, their time is up, but as of now, because it's waxed worse. When the ruler was here, it was peace. And then he let this guy have a day. And so, we blew up things and still afterwards farmed. I don't think that's the problem. I believe that they're spraying, you know, the disembodied. And they are like worms, like the aliens and stuff like that. They come like that because that's, you know, the Himalayas poke a hole in the atmosphere there. And that's how viruses and diseases come naturally. And all the other mountains beyond that point. And so, make you wonder, oh, that's how that come? Well, if we went for that, we wouldn't have none of that? Oh, that's interesting. So, I remember when Key called me through that pole. Found out he was in a fake simulation. That's kind of like how I look at that mountain poking into what they call the stratosphere, poking through there into the next realm where all the radiation and ugly stuff come in, which is China. So that stuff does things to everybody. So what could they be spraying? And why? I've showed clips about a month or two ago where farmers was finding these same squiggly things she's showing, but a little bit thicker. They were eating, boy. These parasites all over the wheat. Remember there was a big thing about wheat? Like, what the hell is this? It don't drown, it don't die. They're like, I don't know what this is. They try floating in the water with the wheat and the rice. Not too long ago. Yeah. So it's like, see, it's them. I don't see Boogie Woogie Man doing this. I see man doing this because he's influenced. Not by an alien. He's influenced by the air. Ain't they doing it in the air? I tell you, air is no good. Daddy picked wind, water, and fire. And you, the earth, that manifests. Wherein that is air. Air brings sicknesses. Air is death. The prince of the air. Verizon say they control the air. I was like, that's a devil talking to me. I'm talking about the people. What influenced you to say that? We control the air. Really? Bet. That's a good thing to know there. You stop at the air, my nigga. Alright, that's cool. Once you leave this atmosphere, in the realm we talking about, nebula, ain't no such thing as air. There's solar winds. Yeah, winds. Ain't no such thing as air. Air is here. It's a virus. Alright? So, only thing called air up there is the heir to the throne. But there's no air. Feel me? If you can see it spiritually. So, like, what they doing, yo? I'm not really asking you. I know what they're doing. But you want to get somebody's spiritual attention? like sis say? If I know that air on that plane, you're on a plane. You live on a plane. You on an airplane, right? Okay, so it flies, what? On the wings of angels. What angels? Michael never lost nobody. Gabriel never lost nobody. Who angels? Because you ain't on gas. See? It's proven itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you trust AI like that? Like, just not tell your family, even though they might not listen, but at least be the trumpet. Don't get on planes. Remember? It's so bad, they stopped talking about it. That don't mean they not crashing. More crashing. Way more. So, like, are people that stupid? Like, really, like, or you just possessed? As you know, I don't believe nobody's stupid. Even what you call slow. They know how to stand in the line, and they know you ain't cheating me out of my money. So you smart enough. So I don't believe nobody's stupid. So if I see every day, 3 times a day, accidents on a particular road, you think I'm going on that road? Just common sense. Just common sense. So, like, you see why it's time to hear the Spirit? And you hear people say with your family, say, it's all right. Then, boop, they in the coffin. See what I'm saying? Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, it's in the coffin. I'm supposed to feel bad and cry for you because you hard-headed? Really? I got to go through an emotion for your stupidity. Never. That's why God say run your own salvation with trembling fear. You can help people that will listen. That's why I don't chase. Feel me? I used to. Yeshua told me I couldn't save everybody and I wanted to. Not that he couldn't, but he ain't gonna make it. There's a difference in the real God. He won't make you. Punk ass nigga that ain't God. He all in your face. I'm God. I'm saying, you a nigga I ain't trying to be around. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to be around you, bro. I'm saying, like, universe, get this nigga in his cell molecule. I ain't messing with him. You know what I'm saying? Because you better tell him before I tell him, because he ain't gonna like it how I'm gonna tell him. I'm saying, like, he told me to come to you. This I ain't tolerating. Like, you don't tolerate sin, I'm not tolerating foolishness. Ain't we equal? And I'm talking to the Most High. I'm saying, like, certain time things I know in my heart, I can feel the ugliness coming from my gut. I gotta get away from this fool. I'm saying, it'll make me wild out. I'm saying, like, woo, good one, Holy Spirit. We need discernment. So, if you're gonna talk spiritual, you can't use words. You gotta go in there like, this person ain't gonna listen to you, but still mean what you say. That's how I come on to y'all every day. I don't care. Listen, I ain't the one that brought you here. You gotta take that up with them. Heavenly places. All right. I don't tell the algorithm to bring you here. You can bring that monkey too. All right. He copying them. I say, how does the AI outdo us when it comes to our own heavenly mother and father? It seems like something is listening better. I'll say it like that. So, you know, that's how you show the people, like, golly, we still letting evil outdo us? First you let the evil wizards and witches do it. Now you letting the artificial? This is sad. You got nerve to say, man, this is sad. But it was told to us these days were coming that we would see a remnant. Ain't you seeing it now? Does it make sense now? No more questions like, God, why is there only a little bit of us? I don't hear no pleading of the blood. All I hear is go to leaders or nothing. So these days are here. But when those days were there, it wasn't too much evil and deception going on. Gay niggas was doing they stuff and was scared to let anybody know. Now, pedophiles is just like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have lost our touch. Yeah, the world really running this world. So if any righteous person ever thought any different, open your spiritual eye, because it's closed. Okay? So she's telling you, and he's telling you, people gonna wake up like, oh my God, what happened? Why are you still trying to hold on to an American dream? God never told you to hold on to a dream. He told you to hold on to the vision I gave you and already purposed you. Like, it's kind of like telling you, if you really listen, I'm banking on you. I'm not hollering at you. I'm not pointing a finger at you. I'm saying, if you already know right from wrong, own up to your stuff and just keep on going. I will always be with thee, even when you think I'm not. That's what your words say. Why we're not living it. I'm trying. And it is hard. And definitely when you ain't got nobody with you. But see, I got brothers with me. I'm saying, and brothers check on me. Brothers see stuff in the spirit. I'm like, my monkey brother that I came from my mom's womb, this man ain't even know what's going on with me. He 1,000 miles away. Hey, bro, I see you in the spirit, y'all boy Parker. Throw you under the bus, bro, always, when it's great. I call names out when I see the spirit. I don't call names when I see other spirits. I just talk about the spirit to rebuke the spirit out, the one that I love. But in this case, he gave me the revelation. Since I got done talking to him, I about ready to preach all day. Just didn't get a chance. So I'm here now. So I was like, oh man, I'm gonna make time. I said, after talk like that, he just text messaged me, man. Like, when this guy here? Oh man, I miss bro. Oh man, I ain't know that. That's what made me go on Facebook. I was like, I ain't doing nothing. I'm gonna take a rest. Shabbat rest. He called me out on my stuff. I see you over there taking Shabbat rest. He was in my house. The spirit take you in, put you in the house, nigga. I wish he could have seen my face when I read it. I was like, hold up, man. That man just called me out on my thing and right. Like, who the hell does that? I'm gonna call his ass out when I go live. I forgot to do it on Facebook. I'm gonna get his ass. That's my bro though. Y'all boy Parker. Awesome y'all, and always Sonya. I think that's how it is. So that concludes our messages. So breathe the intent of your heart and make sure that what you do is a pure intent. That's how you can see and discern at the same time. So if you ask yourself, what would the Most High do? And that thought that came through there ain't the Most High thought. Whenever you come to a thought and you're not for sure, the word says it's already a sin. Because he said, you know my voice, sheep. I'm your shepherd. You don't listen to no other shepherd but me. That's what he said. So, what are we doing out here? I know I ain't going to listen to no other shepherd. All right? But they did a great job hiding the great mother. And that's what was told to us in the form of the Holy Spirit, who controls the 7 menorahs, or called 7 pillars. It says that's how we talk and get the connection of the Wi-Fi of not of this world. Just like a queen, she goes, say, hey, your kids down there, they request anyone, you know what I'm saying? And he said, go ahead, give it to them, or not. Said, like, either way, he ain't no lie. So, all right, so yes, sometimes you're going to hear a no. You might really want that thing, man. You might think you need that thing. You know what I'm saying? Some of us listen, some of us don't. And then when you don't, you realize why he told you no. Had nothing to do with you. Too much ego. But he knew that there was something in what you wanted. We would say, somebody prayed voodoo over it. It's just a cursed object. And it is usually in the form of a new box called an invention. So, you know what I'm saying? So, like, certain things, you're like, yeah, I want to get that. You got the means. But when you went to the Father, he was like, nah. So, ego would be like, what? Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, we want it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, I'm talking to my brother Rashawn the other day. He was like, man, do people listen? I like, Rashawn, I keep telling you, bro. Just think about yourself. See, I put myself in people's situation, even the one they talking about. I say, how the hell did he see this? How did he see this? That's how I can get the truth with the spirit. So I say, Sean, put yourself in that shoe. You really want to do something. They listened to you, but they did not hear you. What do you mean? No, you can't have this. Remember when you want something and mama said no? You know how you act? Okay. Grown people don't go, have fits. They listen to you, and then since you did not agree with them, it's like, nah, I don't give a F what this nigga talking about. I think I still can finagle. So while you telling them the right thing to do, in their left brain, they're already deciding and contemplating what they're going to do which is the opposite of what God told you to tell them. So, me understanding that with my own self is just like everybody else. Nobody's different. You may appear through an illusion of a different circumstance doing a dumb act, but we all dumb. See that? So when you start seeing like that, so you got to explain yourself. So, because most people be like this. That's how a person receive your word. Judging, nigga. All right? That's how they looking at you. But see, if you goofy like me, or like she say, relate things that they do know, build them up, and then smash the roof on their ass. Or let him hang himself while he thought he was tricking you and kick the chair on his ass. He thought it was a game. You're going to fulfill this. I'm saying? And so that's when you get the shock eyes. And from that point on, then take your words seriously. Nobody's going to believe you. And God, I don't care if you know you or not. If they know you, they're going to talk about the flaws of you. If they don't know you, they're going to say, who nigga, who you? So go in there like you ain't nobody. That's why I say I ain't shit. But I guarantee you, if you hear this breath, you going to try to tell me otherwise. It's a setup. I know I am. But I'd rather go in like that than you take me like this, pointing the finger, and you didn't listen to me. You listened to me when I said I ain't shit. Fuck what I say. All right, so you like, oh, let me see what he talking about. Damn, I ain't never heard a nigga come in like that. Talking about God. Because I put myself at the bottom of the totem pole, though I'm not. Like Yeshua, I'm going to wash your feet, nigga. Shut up. Let me show you how to be a servant while you already know I'm king. Understand? So you have to understand your situation and see what the spirit, holy, not any other spirit, but the Holy Spirit will give you the diaphragm of how to breathe to a person, because only it knows the heart and the mind without even speaking a word. Correct? So you have to get on that level. And low frequency, don't do this, don't do that. How the hell are you going to see the spirit? You don't know how much God loves you. How you going to hear? That's left brain surgery. I need to get on the right brain with 90% of mysteries that doctors tell you don't even tap into. You, nigga, logical, carnal mind, always war with the spirit. Get it? I can show you either way. And with proof. Not by my admonition. I don't even have the credentials for this, but credentialed people would tell you, why did I think of that? You're not in the spirit. That's why. But when you get the spirit, come on. You never heard a spirit to a spirit say, why you didn't think of that? Yes, yes. Stand corrected. So make sure that you be able to, in the time, disperse the holy truth. Paul was able to say in the Holy Spirit, Paul. When you're in Rome, you act a little like Rome. You do not forget your place, and you lead thy brother higher than what he knows. And when you do that, you go in there like you stupid, make him think that, he better than you. Puff him up. Like a thief do you, but I don't have bad intentions. I ain't trying to snake you. But I'm going to let you think you're smarter than me. Then you're going to hit a topic that's going to knock your socks off. You're going to say, I didn't think you knew that. Should never judge a book by its cover. Didn't have nothing to do with skin. Has nothing to do with racism. Has something to do when someone look at you, what's the first thing that influenced their mind about you? That's the spirit you attacking, where your Bible says you do not war against flesh and blood, but powers and principalities that influence in people in high places with a lot of power and entertainment, and people kind of like what others look up to and wish to be, but never ever say faith. I find that a hard truth. Like an atheist don't say he'll believe in God, but if someone fire an AKK out of nowhere and it be by him and he don't get shot, the first thing the nigga say is, oh my God. But you don't believe in God. Now, I'm not going to call you a liar, but I will say you're unlearned, that even the depths of your heart and your soul calls upon the power unknowingly before the mind can think. That's how you talk to that nigga. He'll think about it. He ain't going to let you know you got him. But he's going to go home and that seed going to grow. So never look for what the Lord tell you to do. If the Lord tell you to do it, it won't be void. You heard? Braka.